Excellent, excellent.
Hey.
Daniel, welcome. Daniel Swaby. Love to meet you. You were referred to me by a great friend of mine from Netflix. I wanted to talk to you and just discuss with you the international aspect of your profession.
Oh, thank you.
Daniel, please tell us a little bit about you, about when you first realized that acting was something you wanted to pursue professionally, and a bit about your background as well.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Daniel Francis-Swaby. I am an UK-based actor with Jamaican heritage. I'm an actor in all the forms that you can think of that acting entails. I have loved acting since I was 5, 6 years old. So I decided back then to be an actor, which is crazy now that I think about it. Because I let a child decide my entire future. Luckily, even as a child, I was pretty savvy to know my desires, and it stuck with me. And even though there's been a few questionable moments whether this is something I still wanted to pursue, it's been multiple decades now. So I'm really lucky to have found something that I love so deeply, and that I'm able to do it at low, medium, and high levels. And I think that's a thing for all actors to recognize, that it's not always highs, but if the love can be there in the times where it's not all highs, then God, you found something that you're lucky to do. And not everyone gets lucky enough to find something that they love to do all the time.
I know that you are a very versatile actor.
Oh, thank you.
Trained at Italia Conte, which is one of the most elite acting schools for kids in London. So just how has the versatility in your acting been able to sustain you from country to country? When was the first time you decided I'm going to leave and go to another country and do something else? And was versatility a factor then?
Again, I mentioned luck. I was quite lucky in a lot of ways because I spent some of my teen years in Australia. So the idea of moving countries had been set into me already, that it wasn't an impossible feat, that you could move somewhere, make a new life, and be just as happy. My mum did choose Australia eventually, but she did bounce around. We lived in New Jersey for a while. We also lived in Jamaica for a while. So the idea of being bound to one country was never part of my makeup. And in that, once I'd graduated high school, going to the UK to further my education with Italia Conti was always one of the steps that I wanted to take. And I think that diverse ability to live in multiple places always held me in good stead, because even though there's differences in places, what is considered acting and what is the path is always different. In Australia, there was a lot of like a dance theatre background. They used to have this thing called Rock Eisteddfod, which the school that I went to was champions at for a few years. So being integrated there, I could see that the dance and theatre background were interwoven in ways that it really wasn't in the UK. And that just kind of helped me to just pick little bits out of what is considered performance and not just acting, and to layer those on top of each other. So I think I've been held in really good stead to love film, of course, most people do, but also have a deep respect for dance that goes alongside that, and movement-based theatre, physical theatre, and then theatre as well. I was lucky enough to go to NIDA, which is the National Institute of Dramatic Art, in my teen years, and that drama school kind of helped bake in the desire for theatre and what theatre could look like. So when I came back to the UK, those things were all intermingled, all bouncing around in terms of wanting to touch not just film. It didn't have to just be film. And I think that has really helped, because there are peaks and troughs within the industry, you know, with writers' strikes and things getting shut down, the rise of social media, you know, all of these things are having a topsy-turvy effect on what the industry is and will look like in the future. And I feel like I'm really lucky to have dabbled in all forms of performance. So therefore, when things change, I'm able to adjust. And I think that has kept me within the industry. I love vocal theatre as well. You know, I've done radio plays and voiceovers. All those aspects of performance can help A, keep the passion alive, but B, keep jobs coming in, because what my idea of a job is changes, and I see them under the umbrella of acting and performance. So yeah, I'm really lucky in those ways.
I know that you worked with Steve McQueen,
Hmm.
when he did small acts. How did you get the job to work with Steve McQueen? How did you prepare for it? And what was it like working with a director like that after all the accolades that he came off of? What did that mean to you, and how did you adjust to that?
Yeah, it's one of those auditions that come along that you can't quite believe, Steve McQueen. As soon as you see
Was
his
that your
name on there,
agent? Your agent got that for you?
through my agent, it was quite a wide open call as well. It was quite a big audition process, rounds, and also in person. I am a big advocate for auditions in person. You get to feel the energy of the person that you're working with, and you're able to give your performance, yes, but then also they can see something to go, oh, I see what you've gone with there, but let's adjust it slightly. I feel like that's where I do some of my best work. It's not in the decision of what I believe it is, but in the redirect and the commitment to the redirect, where I believe I really excel. I have my own framework and foundations of a character, but I like to work with directors, with other actors, and that means my performance, what I bring in an audition room, is not the performance that I will give on the final day. Whereas some people, you can see from their audition tapes, they bang it out on their audition tape, and that's exactly what they do in the performance.
See, that's what I
Yeah,
know. The last podcast I had was Bobby Yan, the director, and he was like
yeah.
actors that he could direct. They'll come in with their idea of what they think
Mm-hmm.
that the audition or the character should be, and then there's a meeting of the minds where the director and the actor has to come together and say, okay, this is what this character does. Is that
Yeah.
how you worked with Steve?
Yeah, and the whole team. Honestly, that meeting of the minds is the perfect sentence for it. It's the meeting of the minds, because it wasn't only what I was bringing as character, the costume department, and having the time to work through the costume, to ask my opinion, to see what felt lived in the right way. The hat had its own runner in it had its own box, its own runner, but there were a multitude of hats when we were going into the costume, and I got to try them on and feel what was really Bammy, and present that, and be able to speak about all the little, even the things he didn't see, the little trinkets in my pocket, the things that make you embody a character, to feel lived in. So those things were wonderful, and Steve really encouraged. And I think that's my theatre background. We're in a performance situation, like, and that is going to run for a few hours. So I get to live and embody that for a few hours. And I think Steve really appreciated that I wouldn't just snap out and then go and chat and then try and zone back in. No, I'm delving deeper and deeper and getting more and more into
Method
it.
acting, is that
I,
what they call it? Method
yeah, I mean,
acting.
I love that, but I understand why some people are like, "Come on, let's just." But I'm trying to bring a level of reality, and also, I don't know, this is bad, but that's where some of the most joyous parts of it for me are, to be able to sink deep within the character, live in the bones, and find out the bits that are going to happen unexpectedly. And I can see that all throughout Small Acts, and I think Steve appreciated those things that weren't in the lines, those times where Xavier, the DOP, is fantastic, but would just float through the crowd as we were having a real party. And the fact that he was doing that and were able to just kind of clip me in the back of things was because I was living in the situation, and to live within the character. Even the fact that we did one of the scenes, we shot 3 or 4 times. We did 3 or 4 takes of it, and then when he was like, "Great, I think we've got it," I was like, "No, well, there's another one. There's one more actually," and I could feel it coming along because we've been percolating really well. And then for him to just stop, everyone stop, we're not moving on. Daniel, you got another one? And I was like, yeah, I think I've got another one. I was like, great, let's do this. And then to reset everything, to have that kind of gravitas as a director, to everyone to respect that, and for him to place that trust completely in me in that moment, is the stuff of dreams. I know I'm phenomenally lucky to have had that experience, to work with such a detailed artist, and to be part of a team of people who were making art. Yeah.
So what doors did that open for you? Did you feel that it opened doors for you?
Yes, I think I I was absolutely invited into a different echelon of spaces, being invited to pre-BAFTA parties and certain circles, and being getting to do generals with some other people. And it was at a time where I got a new agent as well, so it was quite exciting, the kind of things I was auditioning for. Unfortunately, it went hand in hand with COVID. So there was a pretty immediate shutdown of productions, high level productions. Lots of things were being cancelled. So it's years ago now. So I am very much letting those kind of things go as the whimsies of the universe. But it did come at a point which kind of shifted what was happening, and then we kind of went into a slowdown of work. I did get some work during that period, but even then, it was lots of like from coming from a space where we were all able to live in this party space and interact in a completely improvisational way with some frameworks around, and to kind of completely embody characters for long periods of time. We then shifted into bubbles of you being able to speak to only these four people who are connected in your bubble. So the style of acting completely changed. How we interact, the rehearsal time that I was talking. We had in small acts, we had time to dance and eat food together as a rehearsal. It was even very rare then, but unheard of since. They don't happen. That kind of separation was kind of continuous. So yeah, since then, and what that unlocked, it was unlocking of a higher level of meeting and being in different social spaces as well. But in terms of the work, there was a pretty immediate slowing of the work. But luckily, I mean, some people had it dreadful. So don't let me sound like I'm going, oh poor me, because I was one of the lucky ones, because I had work just before then and was able to do some work, held me in good stead. But the shifts then became pretty consistent. We are now in a self-tape world. As I said, I love being in person. Bubbling happened pretty continuously, and as I said, I kind of enjoyed the interaction and freedom to move around and kind of stay in it. Those things aren't there so much anymore. Yeah,
So you
yeah.
were the were lucky ones because so many, I mean, in our agency, I mean, more than 75% of the actors during COVID didn't work. We had the
Hmm.
few that always worked, but it was a tough time. So you were
Yeah,
one of the lucky ones that got to continue. I want to
absolutely.
kind of throw a little bit of curveball at you right now. I wanted to get your take on British actors doing American roles.
Okay, yeah.
Just what do you think of that? I mean, obviously you have an impeccable American accent.
Thank
Nobody would be able to tell that you are not American. The black American actors here are like these British guys. They don't half the time they don't even know that they're British, right?
Yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, that guy's British." Hugh Laurie. My daughter
Jansen.
had no idea that that guy was British. And how do you feel about not just black actors, but British actors doing American in general? Just a generality.
I believe we're all part of the diaspora, so I am for the work being done by the best person for the job. And I don't think things should be held to go to an exact person who has to be from the town. I feel like that's what acting is about. It's about embodying the character, embodying the roots and the beliefs, and making interesting and believable choices. I do feel like, as a black Brit especially, everything about our culture over here was diminished, and watching Americans, we seem to see a lot of thriving. And I know that's not the case, but to be able to see black Americans in film as powerful, respected, clever people, we didn't always get here. So I say didn't always, very, very rarely got here. And we had our two, three, four people throughout the late 80s, early 90s, and the way that we're talked about here is in a diminishing way. So being able to go over there, embody your accent, and we do, because we get all of your material and TV from when we were kids, to go out there and then to be given an opportunity is just heavenly for us. And I understand why some Americans might be like, yo, yeah, but you're coming and taking, this is meant for us. But we have been looking at American TV and films from inception and from our inception, and have just loved the fact that you're able to do such high quality work and wanting to be a part of that. And as I said, the opportunities aren't here. You can see once we go there, make something of ourselves and then come back. That's when we're respected in British culture. I know that the obviousness of some racist institutions in America is clear, but in the UK, it's more insidious. It's more underhand. It's more unspoken of. Like it's there's a pretense to the racism that it's not going on, whereas it's overt over there. But over here, it's just there is a clear glass ceiling, and that glass ceiling is broken either after 20 or 30 years of dedicated doing it as good, if not better, than everybody else around you, or once you go somewhere else and you are lauded somewhere else for the respect that you should have been given here. And we've got a list of people who go there, and for Americans, I think they feel like, oh, they're just coming here for no. We've tried here. They're not letting us, and when we go there, and then we're elevated, the UK then goes, oh, we should have. Fine, you can come back here and do some stuff here now, but there is no pathway here that is a continuous through, and you can see it even in Damson had to also go over there, and someone who is making a breakthrough here now, Malachi Kirby, he's brilliant and has been brilliant for years, but he did Roots, again had to go and make a mini breakthrough over there before coming back, and there are plenty of other people who deserve their shot here, but will have to still continually make it in the American market first. And it is there's a lot more competition.
You got immigration standing in your way as well. It's
Yeah,
not just coming over
yeah,
here and like, I got an American accent. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You've
yeah,
got,
and that green card is not easy to get on visa. Yeah,
yep, that's
alien
hard
of an
to get.
extraordinary ability. So you do need at times to have been doing stuff here first. Yeah, but look, I think it's partly the opportunities that come along with American shows, the notoriety, the space, the breadth of work, the quality of showing the nuance of a human rather than just being here. We used to say, less so now, but yes bruv, no bruv, where that's what you're saying, that's your line, yes bruv, no bruv, and that's only the work. And you can see the shows that do more than that, you can see them because they're international. But if you go below that 5% of shows which show the depth of level for Black people, then they become surface. Yeah. So
Did you find that in Australia as well? Did you go over there and have an Australian accent? I mean, were you able to penetrate that market more successfully?
they have no need for an Australian accent Black person. So I'll be real with you. There's no point me learning. Like, I can do a reasonable Australian accent. I will be able to convince all British people, all Americans, and a few Australians. A few Australians might hear a little ting twang, but I'm pretty good with my Australian accent. But there's just no need. Anything that I'm being cast for is either in the commercial or modelling sphere where there's very little talking, so that one sentence that I am saying is fine, or I'm being cast as an American or as a Brit.
Why, they
So
don't have any Black people in Australia?
they do, but there's always the question of like, you would have to explain how the character got there or why they're there. They have their own indigenous population there, and as I'm clearly not an Aboriginal, there's less or practically nothing written for African American or Afro Caribbean people.
An Afro-Australian, like a Afro-Australian?
I don't think they got a
Making
name.
fun of it, but because I've never really thought in that.
Yeah. They don't have them. Honestly, this is the thing. They just don't have them. They're just not there.
Okay.
The reason that I was there was migration. The reason that anybody is there is modern day migration. So in Australia, they are though making quite a lot of American films, American TV shows.
Yeah, they have a lot
They,
of productions that go from here to Australia.
yeah,
Farscape, I mean, that's going back a bit, but like there's a lot of sound stages and Australian
yeah,
money there.
yeah.
But
And they give tax breaks
yeah,
to incentivize the film industry. Queensland is excellent. They've got excellent filming stages, and they've got the benefits of forests, cities, deserts, oceans, lake, all of that natural beauty and wide open spaces that you can use for certain films. They have that in an abundance. So Australia is becoming more and more a desirable place to film, which is why I'm kind of re-establishing myself there. I just finished a show there maybe like 3 months ago. I'm a permanent resident now, so getting my footholds back in Australia to go wherever the work is, because with globalization
that's a
and
hell of a go because it takes like 20 something hours to get there. That's what stops me from going. If I have to be on the plane for 20 hours, oh my God, I
I
just
know, I
can't
know.
do it.
It
Or the New
it is
Zealand's
it
worse.
It's the journey. But honestly, if you can make the journey, it's worth it. I
Yeah.
promise you. The
Okay.
reason that so many people, they've got loads of English, Irish, Scottish, South Africans, that those
They have a
places
huge
migrate a lot to
Asian
Australia
population as
because,
well.
huh?
A huge Asian population as well.
Southeast Asian population is huge there.
Mm.
It is very far, especially from the UK and the States. But if you can make the journey, it's got some of the best natural wonders, and the lifestyle of calmness and chill and reconnecting with nature and respecting the ocean is higher than a lot of places. A lot. And there's so much to see and do there. Yeah, it is.
One day, if they knock me out, I'll be on the plane. I can get there. But as we wrap up, I just wanted to ask just a couple more questions about your career. Like, what would you say would be something that you learned about this industry that nobody taught you when you were at school? What is something that you have learned on your own the hard way?
An industry secret, which I'm still getting to grips with. I have learned, but I haven't put it into practice, is respect the art of networking. And still not the best of networkers. I have met plenty of high level people within production and side of things and casting side of things, and I'm not that great at the business side of the business. I perceive myself as the artist side of it, and I want to
That's
delve
why
into
you
that.
need. That's why you need someone like me.
So I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you joke, but we're gonna chat.
I am great at that part. If I know who you know, I will make sure that they know us completely. A lot of people are like that.
Mm,
A lot of people. They're like, look, I'm great at advocating for others. Because if it was your friend and you needed
a
them to know
hundred
something, you're
percent.
like, I'll make that phone call for you. But when it's for yourself, you're like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Send the email, and it is that extra confidence that you need, and the boldness, and because I'm very confident in my abilities, but the boldness to be like, hey, we met on, and send that off is something that I'm still trying to get to grips with. And I have seen people with that level of boldness go on leaps and bounds because of their boldness. It is 100 worthy of dedicating time to and becoming better at. Yeah, because if there is a thing that can tip the balance, it can be that you just know a person a bit better, because we are entering into a world of high level actors everywhere, and when there are three or four people who are all brilliant going for one particular job, knowing that you have a slight advantage, not through a lack of deserving, but you've got a slight edge for, just knowing a person and having a conversation where they might have seen through your conversation just something very slightly different and are willing to then advocate for you. It's worth it.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
see that in you because
oh,
I want
thank
to
you,
advocate for you and get you
thank you.
into those rooms. What I want to know is what you want for the next chapter. What are you looking to do now, apart from sign with me? But like, plug. You said it was
Get my pen
somebody
out.
who's bold. You said somebody who's bold, which is very kind of you. It's actually somebody who ain't got no shame, like me. I have no shame opening my mouth and saying something. But what do you see as the next chapter for yourself?
I think I'm two things. I think, and I don't want to say split focus. I believe they're all under one umbrella, but I'm entering into what people kind of define as their golden era for acting. You know, for men, it's slightly older, more mature, more gravitas. As I'm entering that, I want to do a few roles that I get to live in. I get to shape and that are move the needle in terms of what we believe of as art and something that is watchable. I want to do that while also understanding that we are more and more in a social media world and AI. But I don't want to go completely into social media direction, because I've had people be like, look, we can start doing little short skits, and I feel like that is an avenue where you do get to be creative, speak your mind, and create your own work. And I think that is intensely valuable, and that is one of the directions I want to go into. But I'd also love to overlap this world of TV and theatre, which I also believe is coming. I think there is room for people to visually, even though the technology isn't quite there yet, visually be able to be in this room with me and another actor who are running a scene as part of a show or a film, and it has that overlap of being theatre because we're doing it live and the person gets their perspective, but also film because you can watch it from your own home. I think that's coming. I'd love to move into both of those directions, because I feel like there's a lot of where my desires are that would fit well within that.
I absolutely wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Transatlantic
Thank you for having me.
Playbook. And we're going to talk again.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.